Gen.G trying to regain the top spot in North America. FaZe isn't here. They've got a good chance. Spacestation trying to play upset. Let's get down to the pitch. The first match of the upper bracket.
Lot of fun things to consider here, Turtle, in this matchup. Obviously, everyone wondering how Hoxer going to be performing in his first match here against a powerhouse in Gen.G, and Gen.G looking to continue the road back to the top of North America.
Absolutely, and you can understand why a lot of the hype is behind Spacestation Gaming. They've had a great run so far in this regional event. And I do have to agree with the desk. I think that a lot of the talking points for Spacestation Gaming can certainly boil down to the shooting accuracy, the efficiency, and they're not going to get nearly as many opportunities, so they're going to need to provide that same level of efficiency. And LJ, the player behind the ball right now, he is going to lead that charge as he is right now on the offensive side, getting a couple of 50-50s. A good demo from Abject will relieve some pressure, but Hoxer, maybe if he gets into the midfield, Chronic missed, and immediately we're given a good shot, but off the post and out. But Nolly, I think he just finished this one off himself.
Oh, he absolutely did. I mean, I was going to say I really liking Space Station's initial approach, and Nolly definitely had that one, but Space Station really just taking the maximum amount of space they could find there and able to just keep throwing the ball back into the middle, and Gen.G just shot themselves in the foot.
That's got to be one of the most ironic things you could expect. We're talking about efficiency coming in here, and that Gen.G only lets in high-quality shots, but it's a missed opportunity, and then Gen.G finishes it off, and now they're backflipping on the goal line. I guess none of this is predictable.
What is going on in the Gen.G camp this morning?
Oh, no.
That's just raw mechanical, like, dodge, dead zone, miss input type of thing. That's crazy.
This is painful. They're looking like us out there in our ranked game.
Yeah. Real tough start, to say the least, for Gen.G. And if you're Space Station, cool. You'll take it. Not going to complain, but all right. Deep breath if you're Gen.G. Let's just focus on at least getting the ball out of our half. Nice little fake. LJ back post, and Nolly there to make the stop. Arsenal can't find the follow through, and Gen.G able to at least stop the bleeding for just a moment, but they're not out of the woods yet.
Oh, man, look at this pressure from Space Station Gaming. They had that good back post shot, but they didn't let up and kept this ball in the opposition's half. LJ crashes through off the backboard. A demo as well was coming out from Space Station, and all that pressure is going to earn them, I'd say, their first quality goal.
And Nolly was so close, too. He knew his teammate was in danger, knew he wouldn't be able to get up there and challenge, tried to go and take it away, just didn't have the right read. Apparently, Jack changing the pace on offense, try and see if they can sneak one through, and LJ just elects to steal some boost and kind of limit counterattack potential here from Gen.G.
Oh, my. We're just putting on a lot of pressure from Space Station Gaming, still trying to just keep stacking up all of these shots. You've got Arsenal opts to take the boost, looking for bumps, everybody getting involved, and the rotations have been so aggressive from the orange side.
It's been crushing so far in the first 2 minutes. In general, Space Station camped out. Huge flick from LJ, and now Nolly completely misses the ball again, and Hoxer's just trying to keep this one in play, and Arsenal choosing his moment here in the midfield, lined up against apparently Jack, not going to be able to keep things going for free, and we'll just cut rotation and stall again that Gen.G counterattack, and finally just a long clear from Chronic just to buy a little bit of operating room.
Yeah, and that does feel like the name of the game for Gen.G. Getting off on the right foot with the counterattacks. LJ wanted a nasty binge on the left side of the backboard. I don't think there's any possibility you can even get that one to roll in, but we're seeing the first string of defense now out of Space Station Gaming. How do they handle it? Chronic gets a little bump, but Hoxer, nice little bailout, and that's to open space, and Arsenal can still get a demo, or excuse me, a 50-50, and look for demos while Hoxer does a little bit of magic.
Nice job from apparently Jack, that proactive, quick follow through out of the box. You know you can't let Space Station come back. Nolly with a change up, and it's going to tie everybody up on the goal line. They get one back.
So long as you're accurate achieves, that's all that matters whenever the pass comes through as nice as that one. Backflips into it, cuts all the momentum out of it. And you're thinking, if you're the goalkeeper, there's no way he gets it to the far right side. No way, but a changeup like that, that'll throw you for a whirl.
And they're not done yet. They're going to try and keep it going off the kickoff. Chronic with a flip reset, just going to miss the dunk. And apparently Jack stalling it out on the backboard. Here's Denali. He's going to need a little help, most likely. The bump not going to be able to come through either way. Shot just wide. And Gen.G are going to have to look elsewhere for another goal.
I do like that transition as well from Arsenal. No panic on the defensive side. Even though they're honestly forced with a lot of pressure. This is the best we've seen out of Gen.G, at least in game 1. But time has run out. 1:30 on the clock. Abjack, you think he needs to put one away soon.
Ooh.
Otherwise, they're taking the first game loss.
Not done yet. Dolly just missing the dump out into the midfield. Chronic lets the ball go so he can have an easier back pass to apparently Jack, but he's really got a stretch to make this one. And Hoxer had him beat by a mile to that ball. And really going to expect Space Station to try and clamp down hard here, especially with that demo. Awkward pinch goes right back into the teeth of him. Flip reset, no bumps. Chronic, smart decision, lets it roll. He knows he needs to buy a little time, and it should work out here. This should get cleared. And no, he missed the pinch.
That is not the cooks your pinch that you're wanting. No pressure is relieved. Nolly, though, has been able to find Abjack, who could go for a backboard double. The defense has looked a little bit too rock solid from Space Station Gaming. 38 seconds to go. And at this point, maybe they can get something going. Everybody got involved, but Arsenal very stoic on the goal line.
Yeah, really great vision there from Arsenal. He's paying attention. He knows where all three people are, and he put himself in a spot where he can make the save and make sure to get this ball out to his teammates. LJ down to Hoxer, right down Main Street. Good night, game 1.
Oh man, I'm so impressed with Space Station Gaming. Obviously, this was not the ideal start out of Gen.G. I don't think we'll get the same couple of opportunities for Space Station in game 2, or at least I would hope not.
An own goal and a backflip where you just let one through, yeah.
But regardless, I mean, if you take away those 2 goals, you've got Space Station Gaming still in the lead. And that would be a 2-1 scoreline, but it is going to be 4-1 now at the end of game 1. Space Station Gaming swinging first.
Great start for Space Station Gaming. I'm actually totally with you. Very impressed with their willingness to just go in and really try and constrict Gen.G as much as possible in those first couple of minutes. I mean, all over that blue half, stealing away the corner boost consistently, willing to just give up the ball in the corner as well, just to prevent Gen.G from having that clean control with that strong transition. They're like, hey, we'll let that one roll up the corner if it means we're going to limit your options. And that's a good idea.
And as we take a look at the Mobile One high performance replay, for me, it looks a lot like Space Station Gaming are more flexible than ever. I mean, if I had seen them previously with Daniel, I feel like they were very rigid with their rotations. You'd oftentimes see each player having specific roles, but in this roster, specifically with Hoxer, it's almost like they all work a pretty equal role. And that's what I really like about Space Station Gaming. You won't get one player pushing up too aggressively all the time. They can mix up who gets opportunities, who's generating those shots, and we definitely got a good display of what they're capable of in game 1. But game 2, it's not going to start the same way. I think Gen.G certainly are warmed up at this point.
Yeah, definitely not expecting another absolute disaster at the start of game 2. As I say that, though, Nolly has to make kind of an awkward save. LJ, beautiful dish into the middle. They want that top left corner, and Arsenal just can't quite find the dot.
It's not an own goal this time.
Done. And LJ denied as well, but a big double commit, and there goes that blue steal in the corner again. Gen.G just going to get stuck here in the back line, and thankfully Hoxer not able to come up with a touch, and out to open space. Chronic forced into just dumping that one downfield, and Arsenal, he's on a rampage right now.
Arsenal's cooking right now in the opposition's half. Drive it back and forth, and look at that little pass down. The vision, it's unmatched. Arsenal is the catalyst for so many plays. Not only is he getting those demos achieved, but he's also distributing this ball into the midfield for his teammates to shoot.
Very aware of where the open space on the pitch is. Hoxer with a lot to pick from, but he can't find the right spot. Couldn't find that bottom left corner or that top left one. Chronic able to find a save right through one defender, and Hoxer just going to go out to the safety of the corner. Missed touch from apparently Jack. Forced retreat here from Gen.G, and I'd rather them do that than just try and fight for the ball at the midfield. Give them the time. Make sure you start off from a good place rather than a questionable footing.
Right. We've seen some solo play opportunities for Chronic, and if there's one player you can expect from Gen.G to step up, at least online in this tournament, it's going to be Chronic. This man put up 72% goal participation against Furia. Nolly, good opportunity off the backboard. He didn't get it. It was slightly off. Almost rolled in, off the post and out.
Superhuman read from Nolly. I don't know how he pieced out where that one was coming down.
Even just hitting the post in that situation.
Yeah, I was amazed that he even got that close. I thought he totally misread it, and he's not done. Just trying to get one back to a teammate, apparently Jack. Little interruption on the goal line, and Chronic gets a big dunk. Here comes apparently Jack, and they'll start off with the first goal.
And this is the routine now that Gen.G wants to slip into, letting Chronic do what he does best with the solo plays, outpaces 2 players, and gets the dunk as well on that second one. Abjack has the freest shot of his life, and there we have it, Gen.G on the board first.
Much better start for Gen.G, but still a pretty even battlefield, I would say.
Yep.
Great first push from Gen.G, but keep your eyes open. You know, SSG's been moving the ball very well, and apparently Jack, he knows just keep this one tight. I don't know where I have to go with it just yet, because it feels like at the moment Space Station's kind of been everywhere. Dish to LJ, and Chronic waiting for it. Able to sniff that one out.
Loving the timing on these demos from Space Station Gaming. Off the backboard, more solo plays. This game has shifted into just trying to outpace 1 or 2 players and set up that second man. We'll see if Chronic can do just that, but loses control of the ball, and Arsenal says thank you for the free clear.
Okay. Really great stall there from apparently Jack. Just a little poke up straight into the air. Unfortunately, you're right. His demo's coming through big, and that's a big mistouch, and Nolly the only one there for it. Arsenal says we'll reset here at the midfield line. Little chop across. Misses the bump, but it's going to work out. Arsenal again. You said it earlier. He's moving that ball.
I mean, this man, he's got a third eye that can see everywhere else on the pitch. He knows 2 players are going to bite on that challenge. Nolly isn't all the way on the goal line, so the shot, as long as it's powerful enough, will slip in. Arsenal, like I said, he's the catalyst for this team, picking apart Gen.G.
And they keep it going. Great equalizer to be sure, but Gen.G not to be trifled with if you've been paying attention at all this season. Not out of the woods yet. And that's actually through everyone. Apparently Jack forced dismount from the backboard, and actually an incredibly favorable bounce for Chronic there to at least let Gen.G reset here. Now it's kind of some awkward reads, and that one goes straight out into the midfield, and Hawks are really just trying to keep this one in play. And nice understanding from Gen.G, knowing there's not a whole lot of danger. You just got to make sure you don't allow a silly shot there, and they'll just poke it downfield.
We've been talking a lot about Arsenal, so I've been on his camera the past few minutes. This man is staying in the opposition's half, and a good 1-2, and now the own goal. Arsenal returns the favor, and Gen.G can take the lead.
Unforced error, I think. I think everyone thought this ball was in, and Arsenal's just driving into the net. Unfortunately, hits the crossbar and goes right into his car.
Wow.
No fault of your own, Arsenal. We don't hold it against you, just unlucky.
Yeah. At this point, you just got to hope he doesn't hold it against himself. He can get back into this game, but the backboard is wide open. Chronic almost made another nutty angle. Abjack wants to try and match it, but he faked it. And we're seeing a lot of fakes today. This is the second one that has looked beautiful. I think we got one in that last series. Now Abjack comes through, says, goodbye, Arsenal. I know you think I'm going to take a shot, but I'm not.
That's all communication as well. If Nolly doesn't let apparently Jack know that he's right behind him, apparently Jack just tries to score that one himself, but as soon as apparently Jack knew, he just straight up sold it, jumped up there and rolled the car back. LJ actually cannot get it through, and Arsenal denied by Nolly on the goal line. The lead will stay at 2 with just under a minute. The Space Station, you feel like if they wanted to keep themselves in it, that probably had to be in, but not quite done yet. They get something back here pretty soon.
What a ridiculous recovery from Nolly to get in the position to find a save. I didn't think he had the boost to even rotate back in time, but here he is taking the midfield boost, and he's got so much to work with. Dishes it out to Abjack, almost the 4th goal, but at this point, you just got to keep stalling or get the 4th one.
And there's an awkward problem here. All of Space Station, they kind of rotate into that same corner, so they're all defending from the same line, and as you can see, Arsenal coming into that goal line, really just kind of handcuffed at that near post, and realized he gave up too much of the net, so he might have been thinking about maybe I got to defend the back post, and just got a ripper right over his shoulder. Hoxer 1-on-1 denied by apparently Jack, and that should close out game 2 for us. And Gen.G, they will distribute a 4-1 back the other way.
They've definitely found their groove. Pretty much I'd say mistake-free gameplay out of Gen.G on the defense. This was beauty from Hoxer. 14 seconds remaining. We've seen crazier things before, but with Gen.G's defense right now, I don't think they're going to let up.
Great vision, though, on that touch from Spacestation again. Arsenal is identifying that open space right in the middle of the field. They allow it. It's a really strong counterattack. Yeah. See that open backboard? I found that generally when you catch a team on counterattack, that backboard tends to be the weakest spot because it puts the most pressure on that defender to make a really tough over-the-shoulder type of save or clear or something like that. Space Station finding where the ball needs to go, but fortunately not enough times. It could have been. I think game 2 here could have easily been in overtime. It felt like there were some really nice presses. There's some really great defensive work from Gen.G overall, and I'd say probably best game of the series so far. Granted, we've only had 2, but game 1, you know, that one's not really fair.
I mean, after game 1, I think we all expected more from Gen.G and just thought Space Station were dominating. And then, of course, we got it in game 2. But I definitely think, like you said, Space Station Gaming kept this close, and we could have easily seen this one been all tied up. I mean, opportunities were there. 12 shots for Space Station Gaming. Arsenal continues to move the ball well and see the field perfectly. LJ and Hoxer, the accuracy was there, but I think that goal line defense came out just in time for Gen.G, and they had a couple of close calls, and maybe we don't see them get those same saves in game 3.
Yeah, biggest turnaround, though, for Gen.G, that ability to get that ball to open space, start at least preventing Space Station from clamping down in their own corner and really fighting the game on a much more even footing there.
Well, we got more from Chronic as well. The solo plays were coming out. He had more boost to work with. I think the midfield has been more of a even battlefield compared to game 1. But Gen.G, they're starting off on another solid groove, getting in the offensive half, taking some demos. Chronic stole the corner boost, and yeah, this team has certainly come out aggressive.
They're swinging hard if they're Gen.G, but it seems they finally ran out of steam. Have to give a little bit of space, and indeed they will get punished for it. LJ just picks off a pass, knew exactly where it was headed, and there's Arsenal now putting a Hapjack in kind of a difficult spot, but certainly playable. It's what I like to call a tester. You just say, can't mess this up, otherwise it's in the net. LJ slowing it down, and Ali finds a clear. Space Station just trying to see if they can get any type of offense set up, with any type of structure to it, or if they're just having to fight for the ball here.
And they've got to keep their heads on a swivel. Hoxer, he got the control, but there's no follow-up for the shot, and Ali takes him out after the pass comes through, too. And this has been a lot of defense out of Gen.G, but they are dodging the demos, keeping themselves alive, and finally gets a much-needed clear.
Oh, nasty kick. Just an awful bounce off the sidewall, and it ate Arsenal alive. Look at this touch from apparently Jack. Look at that kick. He's like, anything but the straight back to him. Like, if it hits that lip and just rolls down to him, he can play that. He can cut inside, but if it kicks up, obviously he can play it off the wall, but boy, it just went straight back onto his nose, and he's like, there's too much space for him to work with. It's not fair.
That first touch was also ridiculous. He kind of popped it to the back of his car to get more height on the flick, and shots coming through. Space Station Gaming are knocking on the door. Transitions have been here for Gen.G. They've played a lot of defense, but they're the team in the lead.
Apparently, Jack putting the fear of the flick, that little short hop, and seeing if anyone would bite. Space Station equal to the challenge, and now pressing, looking to find some type of equalizer here with 3 minutes left. Gen.G, you weren't kidding. Game 2 definitely found their groove, and now you really see if Space Station's got anything else in the bag of tricks.
They just keep getting intercepted. Every shot has an answer. Even if it's a little bit delayed, they will find the prediction, the pre-jump. But speed like that could generate more opportunities. And Arsenal is looking to take out that third man. He recognizes that somebody's got to make a move downfield. I mean, get aggressive. Try and stop these players on Gen.G from predicting what's happening.
Great awareness from both teams there. Space Station finding the space, and Nolly rotating back from the midfield for Chronic, and he actually comes up empty. Everybody on Space Station is terrified, though. Hoxer, great flick. Apparently Jack is going to need a little help, and that one's poked off the boards, and great control there from Nolly not to overdo it. Just try and keep it close, and he has to make a second save here. Bit of a tenuous spot on defense for Gen.G if they can't find any boost, but looks like there's just enough space to find some breathing room.
They've been consistently winning those 1v1s, but here's another situation. This is a 2v1. Nolly, I think he had the read, but might have side dodged. You can see he put himself in between Hoxter and the striker LJ in this situation, but he dodged to the left. If you dodge to the right, I think he's making contact.
It's very possible, but either way, Space Station's execution for how it played out, absolutely flawless. When you execute that 2-on-1, person with the ball should, as soon as you see that person commit to challenge you, that's immediately when you dish that ball across, and they did just that. Unfortunately for them, if you're Gen.G, oh, don't tell me. I was about to say, don't tell me you allow that. That one's off the wall, and they still might give it up, and indeed they do. Space Station circle back around and find a second in just a couple of seconds.
Oh, man, after that miss from Nolly, they were just bleeding, couldn't find a Band-Aid, and the ball kept rotating in front of the box. You know it's going to lead to something for Space Station Gaming. That's another mistake where Nolly's behind the situation. I think he thought the ball would have gone in a little bit faster. Didn't get a touch. Couldn't waste time. Space Station Gaming have completely flipped the script and have taken the lead.
Nice job from Chronic there, knowing he had the time. Just take it on a dribble, force Space Station to come take the ball off you. Nolly, really tight support there, and apparently Jackie just has to give all this space. He has no boost. He's hoping for that corner to spawn, and he actually somehow scared Space Station up. They just couldn't get control of the ball, and Gen.G felt like they should have been under a whole lot of pressure, finds themselves in a perfectly playable position.
Yeah, and there's more space in the midfield. However, as I say that, Hoxter pre-jumps Abjack. Just getting in front of it. Nice little cherry pick opportunity. Chronic, Nolly hunted in the midfield.
Wow.
It's a quick 1-2 connection, and it's a flawless shot.
And Nolly can hear that engine behind him too. Just able to get away from LJ, find a bullet.
That's ridiculous. You could take a screenshot and see Nolly with 3 surrounding Space Station Gaming members approaching him on the shot, and he still finds a way to slot it. That's ridiculous.
Beautiful bit of shooting, to be sure. Gen.G finds their own equalizer. Game 3. Very possible to find ourselves in OT. Arsenal, if he can find a bump, not quite. Chronic, solid enough clear, but definitely Space Station still in command here in the last few moments.
Oh, somebody's got to get up early.
Double touch, actually, from LJ off the challenge. Arsenal gives it up for Hoxter, dished into the middle. Off the wall, looking for a little help, but they demo the support player in Arsenal as well as LJ. And Hoxter, he just completely changes gears, tries to buy as much time as possible, and it will work out for him. Tough break there for SSG, but they're not done yet. LJ one-on-one versus Chronic straight towards the top right. Hoxter cannot get a piece of Nolly fast enough. Arsenal needs some help. There's LJ, and he comes up short. Just misses a banger into the net. Dished upfield for Nolly. LJ wants one more look at it. This is an awkward read for apparently Jack, and he'll just smash that to the corner. Nolly right down into the middle, and indeed we will find overtime. Gen.G is terrifying.
That was the opportunity to put Gen.G away in this game. Abjack had missed the clear. I think he side dodged again, but might have assumed that Abjack had that all covered. Okay, because they've already forgotten about it and are pressing forward in the OT.
You can really see Gen.G trying to bring this ball down as much as they can, dribble it. They really want possession. You're right, a very helpful bounce out of the corner. LJ doesn't pick it up cleanly, and Nolly just picks it off. Arsenal forced to stall it out. Does an excellent job sticking with this one, but he will get poked off the ball. Apparently Jack, again, just managing the timing of that challenge. Double commit there from Gen.G means not a lot of good structure, and apparently Jack just trying to buy a little time. LJ not in the best position to handle it. And Gen.G just kind of seeing if they can put the ball in an awkward spot and maybe wind up with a breakthrough, and everybody just going to take a moment, I think, to settle down here.
We've seen a much more physical game out of Gen.G in the past few minutes. I've noticed all these players, they're rotating back, looking for demos. LJ missed the backboard read, but was covered and bailed out by the third man. Now they can transition. Let's see what Space Station Gaming have got in the tank. What else do they have to offer on the offensive side? Taking boost, getting involved, but Hoxter not able to get a touch. He missed the ball as well. LJ couldn't get contact, and it's bailed out. A couple of close calls.
Bold choice from Arsenal as well, clearing that ball straight across the passing lane. And I think Gen.G just not expecting him to just rip that ball straight across the pitch. It could have very easily been picked off. Down to apparently Jack, and he misses the ball as well. maybe expecting to have to make a block, but either way, now they give one
Look at
back
all
to
this
Space
space.
Station, and you're right, there's nothing but daylight for Space Station to move the ball. Unfortunately, that gets away from them, and Nolly just kind of throws it right into the teeth of Space Station here on their own half, and rightfully so.
Yeah.
They will try to slow pace the play down.
And Gen.G are looking for boost. That's why you're seeing more midfield space. Abchek in particular has been rotating all the way back to his own net. A couple of mistakes coming through for Space Station Gaming, and now the space has been reversed. We've got more given up to Gen.G, but denied quickly by Arsenal. We'll see if Abchek has to touch the midfield. He does, but it's right back to Hoxer, who misses the ball. The mechanics in this game and this series in general have been pretty wonky. You're seeing surprising whiffs that are throwing even me off.
Who's going to be the fourth imposter?
I don't know who's on what team anymore.
You just got to wonder what's going on today. Some people who are normally so mechanically proficient, just a little bit off the past couple of games. Down in front, and he catches him going up the back of the net. Arsenal thinking he has to make a big stop. Unfortunately, takes himself off the goal line.
What is that bump? Apparently, Jack, he just landed in the corner. Beautiful recovery, then saves his dodge to smack Hoxer out the way. Gen.G, through a physical game, can take another win off of Space Station Gaming.
And let's see, in that game, a lot of bumps across the board. There's very physical. You're not kidding. That's
7 up against 4s. I'm telling you, it's been physical. It's been dirty. Every once in a while, you get one of these games where you expect it to be very mechanical, but it's mostly just a bunch of chaos where people don't know who or what's going to touch the ball.
Crazy game to be sure, but a lot of bumping across the board, across all three players. There's in just terms of general touches, it's around 70, if I had to guess, if I counted that correctly. Meanwhile, Arsenal, the big physical player, he had about 40 bumps or little touches on opposition cars in that last game. He was definitely the big I'm in your face game player for Space Station in that game 3. But that does mean Gen.G 2-1 in the series. Long road back. If you're Space Station here, that's 2 games in a row. They definitely got the better of you across the board in terms of general field position.
I still think it comes down to that execution though. Like I don't think you can count Space Station Gaming out at all.
Certainly not.
I mean, there's been so many opportunities that they can generate. We're just waiting now on somebody to step up. Like I mentioned before, I think LJ was the sharpshooter, but coming out, Nolly, he's taking the role and he's the sharpshooter himself.
Nasty. Arsenal looking for the bomb of a clear up the pitch. Unfortunately, went straight up. Nolly just picks it off and finishes the job with a beautiful goal. That's not the way you want to start off game 4, that's for sure. And Space Station Gaming. Honestly, it's been an incredible series, I think, from them.
Yeah.
I love the game plan. It's very physical. They're trying to take a bunch of space. It's just when it came down to it, you're not kidding, that execution kind of ruined all their chances there.
I think it's more of the awareness and understanding that you're applying a lot of pressure and that it's more likely a mistake will come out from Gen.G. I feel like Space Station Gaming can hold all of this pressure for like a minute or two, but they don't recognize when Gen.G are in tight situations and when to really throw themselves forward. They're just kind of waiting for those mistakes to come out instead of anticipating them, and that has certainly not been the most beneficial plan as they've missed a couple of opportunities and are forced to play more defense. We'll see what Hoxer has, denied by Nolly. They're just trying to get out of their own half.
They managed to do so. A couple of really nice challenges. Can they stay on this blue half, though? Apparently Jack poked into the midfield. Hoxer to LJ. Looking for a second touchdown into the middle. Chronic is somehow right on that ball, and he makes a second stop. Arsenal, not even a bad shot. Beautiful placement. Sometimes you just got to tip your cap. Great save.
Chronic whipping out the goalkeeping gloves. And here he is again on the goal line. He's getting a touch, keeping it to himself. Can get another 50-50. This man just doesn't stop, and good vision to find Nolly on the other side. Back to the midfield. Gen.G flowing like water on the opposition's half, and they continue to take a charge. And more shots are flooding in.
Arsenal He just wants to get that ball out into the middle, force Gen.G to follow that ball left to right. Nasty pinch right back down the middle for Nolly, and Arsenal is able to keep it out. Huge block. Can he make a second one? He'll have Hoxer come through and break it up. Huge stop from Arsenal to keep the deficit to 1 and keep themselves in this game 4. And now the pressure being put on from Space Station. They collect a lot of boost in the midfield and unfortunately get crushed on a challenge. Apparently Jack right through the defense.
That's huge for Space Station Gaming, just keeping it within 1. Another accurate shot, slightly off the post, and now the crossbar down. Abject able to finish it. Chronic, that all stemmed from his shot. And at this point, you're applying too much pressure. The defense will fall.
Apparently, Jack, he was gearing up to go for that shot himself, and then just saw his teammate going in front and said, okay, and he just adjusts mid-flight. He's like, okay, I'll make it work. And that type of improvisation, you love to see a player have that type of head on their shoulders. They're not frustrated that their teammate cut in front of them. Yeah. It's just, okay, how to make this play work.
And I feel like that's what we're lacking from Space Station Gaming with the shots, is the improvisation. Another one for Abject. When are Space Station Gaming going to be able to read the play a little bit better when they have those opportunities? They can generate them, but they can't adapt like what we're seeing from Abject.
And that actually, across the board from Gen.G right there, that was a team effort. They saw Arsenal rotating into that corner, grabbing that boost, and they may get one back on kickoff. Unfortunately, the demo comes through and throws off a bit of that timing, but Gen.G, they get stuck in on this offensive side, and they get laser focused. They say, okay, where's the defense? What are they giving us? And they'll put the ball wherever it needs to go. That's what's made them so dangerous, that field awareness, that killer instinct on attack.
Which I feel like we had in the first 2 games, specifically from Arsenal, was the awareness of, okay, a mistake is most likely going to come out here from Gen.G. But now at this point, they're just trying to force it through the goal line instead of really looking at the field and the awareness of where the opposition is, where their players are, and what space to infiltrate.
This is Gen.G on counterattack, and you can see LJ actually positioned beautifully there, in the right place at the right time. Little floater from apparently Jack, just seeing if anyone would be there for his team. He didn't really have a better play, and Space Station pick it off, but can they keep the ball? Arsenal, huge aggression, but they let the ball leak back into the midfield, and Gen.G gets out of what could have been scary for free, and they almost score with a beautiful pinch off his own bar from LJ. Keep the deficit at 3, but under a minute. Likely not going to make a difference. Nice little chop, and it kicks off his car. Oh, you hate to see it.
Oh, it's just a nightmare for Space Station Gaming. They've built the foundation, they've created the opportunities, but things aren't going their way. You save your own shot, and still 3-0. It looks like we're going to get match point for Gen.G on a frustrating game for Space Station.
Nothing feels worse here. You just want to get something back going into the next game, and you make a nice little cut pass into the middle, and that cursed physics engine says momentum still travels forward.
If only you could just stop all of the physics in this game, things would work out.
That's all right. What can you do, Gen.G? Again, you just pick apart a defense. It doesn't matter who it is. Somehow, some way, when they get on offense, they know where it needs to go, how to get it there. And you can see that starting to reflect in the shot totals a little bit more as well. And I think you're right. In general, across the board, Space Station actually, on the offensive side of the pitch, a little bit more, but that structure wasn't there. There's nobody there to actually shoot the ball with force and into a dangerous position and really test that Gen.G defense, because I think you're right, Turtle. They really are just trying to press a little too hard.
Yeah.
And sometimes you got to be willing to give a little bit back so you can reset an attack from a good spot.
Right. You just need to be more flexible and understand that more opportunities will come your way. We do have a timeout for Space Station Gaming in this best of 7. They're now faced with match point for Gen.G, and we'll see what they can change up. This is why they picked up the new coach, Sad Jr., coming out here. This is a perfect opportunity for him to put on display what he can bring to this team and what changes he can implement mid-series, which is obviously where it's the most difficult to do.
Yeah, that's the adaptation is kind of that unquantifiable, attribute of any team, and being able to look at what the opposition is doing, how they're moving the ball, what they see, what your team thinks is going on. Is it correct? And Unfortunately, none of that gets revealed until the next game is played, right? And you never know if you're making the right moves or not until you get to look through those beautiful, beautiful 2020 vision hindsight glasses.
That's right.
We shall see. Space Station's able to figure out how they want to approach Gen.G, and what was working back in game one, obviously it helps. You know, Gen.G was kind of handing a little bit more over to them than should be happening. That definitely benefits you, but in general, you had a really wide spread of the pitch in game one if I'm Space Station, and they were willing to put that midfield guy kind of on an island and say, look, you may have to just give them the ball and let the counterattack happen and handle a one-on-one or a two-on-one. But the payoff that they got was they got to position themselves deep on that opposite corner and see if they could just get that ball out to the opposite side and just beat Gen.G to the back side of the pitch. And in general, Gen.G, I think, was definitely caught off guard by that. They were like, man, you guys are surprisingly aggressive as we get our first look. The new Oasis map here in our...
Oh, it's so clean, Achieves. It looks so good. I'm so happy. I'm sorry.
You should be. It's beautiful.
As soon as this map came into the game, I was like, I need to see this in competitive play, and we've got it. And now maybe the aesthetic will inspire Space Station Gaming just a little bit here to bring it back and really give a fight against Gen.G.
We shall see. And I really want to see them keep a wide spread, trust people to play defense as Chronic rips one off the backboard. And aggressive start for Gen.G. Floater, and it will go in off the bar, down around, pinballing into the net.
Wow.
Tough break for Space Station.
And that's just a smack in the face. You get a timeout, and you're thinking, okay, we've got to implement a change, but immediately, right as the gates open up, you're forced with a difficult shot that slips in off the crossbar. Space Station Gaming slowly slipping off the mountain as Gen.G have comfortably been climbing up ever since that first game loss.
Still hope to be found. Not over yet. Game just started. Space Station can make something happen. It's just a matter of, can you find the right place to be? Nolly, so aggressive.
Oh, what a touch. And he's got the double. Don't do it to him. Don't do it to him. Oh, come on, Achieves. This is just unfair. Abject, the pop-up, Nolly, the backboard read. This is too much to handle if you're Space Station Gaming.
And that all starts back on the other end of the pitch as well. Nolly just understanding the plays headed here, just went and stole the ball off Space Station. Just punted it forward, and Abject says, go get it. Boy, did he.
And that's a play that didn't develop here for Hoxer. They're trying again to put some shots on target, applying pressure, but knocking on the door, no answer. Nothing is working out for Space Station Gaming. Maybe the demos, maybe opening up some space, trying to set up Arsenal. He controls it to himself and gets a lovely little 1-2. It looked good, but still not enough.
And Nolly positioned so well, cutting it back into the seam and not able to cut that one down inside the post, just skims across the goal line. A tough break, Space Station, though, but they understand. They're identifying where that ball needs to go, and that's the right place to start the attack from.
They're seeing the space in the corners, recognizing where they need to push up. The demos are also coming through. Arsenal was looking for a bump on Abject. Space Station Gaming.
Nice.
This is their chance, their opportunity to get back into the series.
Ooh, nice blocks from Chronic, and now you really put Hoxer in a bad spot, and apparently Jack stuffed him on that clear, and that's the real problem with that, wide approach. Sometimes if you're not ready to go over there and get it, you're just not going to be able to win the challenge, and all that pressure gets just completely popped like a balloon.
He's got boost, Arsenal, 36 in the tank, but Nolly cuts out early. The pass is too predictable. Gen.G keeping their heads on the swivel. They're recognizing where they need to infiltrate, where SSG want to go for some passes, but this is a little bit too unpredictable. Clever. It was clever. It was clean. That execution just lacking.
Definitely just trying to lay that ball gently into that lower left-hand corner, but you're right. I don't even think Hoxer knew how he was supposed to get that ball there, and you could see it, him just trying to piece together the puzzle in his head in the moment. That's so difficult to do. High degree of difficulty, and Unfortunately, Space Station starting to lose a little bit of field control as well. That's a nice challenge from Hoxer to stalemate things, and LJ picks one off. Can he get this one into the middle? Beautiful lift, but only one there for it is Jack. Space Station off grab and boost, but that's okay. I'd rather than be off grabbing boost to stay on attack rather than try and press that and let the lead grow bigger.
All three orange players are in a drought, waiting on who will get the first goal. This is their last chance in the upper bracket to move on. The first best of 7 here in the tournament as well. Space Station Gaming got to get something early, and I don't even know how that found its way into the midfield.
Apparently, Jack, I mean, he's fighting for the ball in the corner. Oh, nice little wave dash in. That was way cleaner than it made it look, right?
You see him power sliding on the backboard behind the ball? He shouldn't have been able to control it with the recovery.
That was way tastier than I thought.
Oh, man. I thought he just, bullied his way through, got a good 50-50, and it just slipped out. But no, this man landed on the backboard, power slid, kept the ball on his car. Oh, it's dirty from Gen.G.
That's a good one. You can hang your hat on that one, apparently, Jack. Have your in contention for the assist of the day. That's for sure. Or assist of the week, my mistake. Either way, Gen.G dominating position now here. A minute left, game 5. It's been 3 straight, looking to make it 4 straight. Space Station started off strong.
Oh my, come on. Nolly just landed on the ceiling, got his reset, then dunked Space Station Gaming. Nothing is going their way. Jeez, what do they need?
At this point, you're going to need some type of divine intervention if people are just going off the ceiling and crushing you on the challenges. That is something you do have to commend Gen.G for. I mean, it's not been easy to play defense here against Space Station.
Yeah.
I will say that. I think they've definitely tested them more often than not. Indeed, Arsenal will find one back, so 30 seconds, 2 goals. Tough, tall order, but doable. I mean, Space Station has had it.
Yeah.
It's just, can they get it?
Exactly. And I think that's honestly one of the most tilting things here for Space Station Gaming, which is why I worry about their mental more than anything else, is you're in this game and it's not like you're getting obliterated in all aspects of the game. You have opportunities. You've created space for yourself, but that final moment where you need to slot it away, you haven't been able to find it. And Arsenal can't get the pinch either. That one didn't go.
It's two-pronged, right? It's like there's those ones, right? It's the execution where it kind of falls flat on you. Yeah. And then the other times where Chronic just makes a disgusting double save on the goal line. And it's
you get dunked from the ceiling from Nolly, who gets his reset.
Sure, whatever, man. I guess you can just do that.
Gen.G, fantastic series.